Welcome to Law Days and Lattes, the podcast where we blend the world of law and business with a warm cup of information and common sense. I'm your host, Sidney, attorney, real estate investor, and business owner. Each week, we'll be your go-to source for legal insights, business advice, and so much more. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an ambitious entrepreneur, or simply someone seeking guidance, we'll have you covered. From navigating the legal landscape to empowering you with valuable business strategies, we'll explore the legal side of life and enjoy a virtual latte along the way. So, grab your favorite latte, get comfortable, and let's dive in to Law Days and Lattes. Welcome back to Law Days and Lattes, the podcast where we talk about the legal side of real life, the things that affect your business, your family, and your future. I'm your host, Sidney, founder of the Whelan Law Firm, now serving North Central Missouri businesses and families in 3 convenient locations: Moberly, Carrollton, and now Paris. Well, folks, this week was a lot. Not the kind of busy we talk about in passing, but the kind that stops you for a moment and makes you really look at life. At the beginning of the week, I lost a close friend. It was unexpected, complications from surgery. And what made it even more surreal, we had just finished her estate planning. She and her husband had done the work. They had checked the boxes, and they had taken the time to put the estate plan in place. And then, just like that, she was gone. Later in the week, I stood at a wedding, watching 2 precious people in their 80s who had found their way back to each other and to love after 40 years apart. A second chance at love, and a reminder that life can still surprise you in the best of ways. In between those moments, there were benefit auctions, people showing up with generosity and heart, supporting children with cancer, supporting conservation, supporting causes much bigger than themselves. There was a pageant, young women stepping into confidence and leadership. And there was a community forum, people using their voices, asking questions, shaping the future. It was a long week of grief and of joy, of endings and beginnings. And right in the middle of all of it was a very simple truth. Life doesn't wait. It doesn't wait until your schedule clears up. It doesn't wait until things feel less chaotic. And life certainly doesn't wait until it's convenient. And here's what I want to say to you today. Don't be so busy living your life that you make things harder for the people you love when you're gone. Because here's the reality I see every single day in my practice. When there's a plan in place, families can focus on each other. And when there's not, they're left trying to figure everything out in the middle of grief. And it doesn't have to be that way. Setting up an estate plan is not as overwhelming as people may think. All it takes is a few minutes to pick up the phone or go online and schedule an appointment. It takes an hour or 2 to sit down and have the conversation. And after that, your attorney, your advisors, your other professionals, we take it from there. But what you've done in that short amount of time is create something incredibly valuable for your family. Clarity, direction, peace of mind. Now, I want to say something else because I still hear this all the time. I just don't feel ready. I don't have everything figured out yet. Well, the truth is, you don't have to. You don't need all the answers before you walk into that appointment with your attorney. In fact, most people don't. Estate plans are meant to be flexible. They're designed to grow and change as your life changes, or even if you simply change your mind later. This doesn't have to be a one-time, set-in-stone decision. It's a framework that evolves with you. And for the pieces of the puzzle that you're unsure about, well, that's exactly what your attorney is there for. Use that appointment time to ask questions, to talk through your concerns, to think out loud, to explore options you may not even know exist yet. Because I can promise you this, we often see possibilities and solutions that you haven't had a chance to consider yet. That's the value of having someone guide you through it. So instead of waiting until everything feels perfectly clear, take that first step while it's still a little messy. Start the conversation and build the plan based on your life, your priorities, and your people. And then adjust it as life unfolds, because it will. So if this has been sitting on your to-do list, if you've been thinking, I know I need to do this, I just haven't gotten around to it, let this be your nudge. Not out of fear, but out of care. Take a few minutes and make that appointment. Have that conversation. Because the goal isn't just to protect what you've built. It's to protect the people you love from unnecessary stress, confusion, and conflict. Life doesn't wait, but you can be ready for it. Thanks for joining me today on Law Days and Lattes. If you found this episode helpful, share it with someone you know who may also be procrastinating with their estate plan, because life is busy. Take that first step and set up an appointment to talk with us soon. Have a great week, my friends.
This podcast episode contains general information for discussion purposes only. Each case is different and must be judged on its own merits. Missouri rules generally prohibit lawyers from advertising that they specialize in particular areas of the law. This show should not be construed to suggest such specialization. Nothing on this show should be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, and the listening or viewing of this podcast does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.